Tal, por aquí Frank Wadskier, su fotógrafo favorito. Hoy vamos a tener un live con Michelle Holmes directamente desde Estados Unidos. Es una de las mejores golf instructors y de las 50 del mundo para el sistema de U.S Kids. También maneja el golf, Junior Golf, también en la parte del estado de Virginia. Vamos a estar dentro de unos instantes con ella. Muchos saludos a todos. Importante de la entrevista de hoy, va a estar después siendo compartida a través de las redes sociales, va a estar también en el canal de YouTube, así que bueno, vamos a comenzar con Michelle Holmes, ¿ok? La entrevista por temas de ¿cómo se llama? Temas de idioma, pues obviamente va a ser completamente en inglés. Así que si por algún motivo me sale una de Celia Cruz o de Mark Anthony, my English is not very good looking, bueno, nos lo disfrutamos porque el golf es un lenguaje universal. Ok, vamos a entrar. Ajá.
Hey.
Hi, Michelle. How are you? Good evening.
How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time tonight to talk about golf.
I hope you don't expect me to know any Spanish.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. I try to know some English, so it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
We'll work it out. I have to
So what?
I have to
What?
introduce my dog because she's so misbehaved that she could go crazy at any point. So I have to
What?
introduce her.
What's the name? What's the name?
Her name is Allie, and then I have another one over there who could go crazy as well. His name is Brady.
Oh, dogs are amazing. I had a poodle for 17 years.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Great partner in crime.
But
So,
I'm hoping she will behave. I'm hoping.
oh, she seems lovely, so no worries there.
How are you?
Good. Thank you. To say some things in Spanish. Can you? Okay. Can you hear me properly?
And you froze there for a minute, but I can hear you now again. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna say a couple things from your resume on the website on Spanish, but it's the same information you already have on your website. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So, estamos hablando con Michelle Holmes. Ella es la directora de la escuela de golf. Michelle Holmes es una profesora de la LPGA clase A. También es, como ya mencionamos antes, top 50 del sistema de U.S Kids. Es también Golf Masters Professional del sistema de U.S Kids y de la GRAA. Es top 50 de los profesionales que más han crecido en los últimos años, incluido, congratulations, by the way, Michelle, on the LPGA Junior Leader of the Year for the Northeast section. I believe you have now 2018 and 2020.
Yes, thank you.
I'm doing my homework.
You have done your homework. This is quite an introduction, even though I don't understand the Spanish.
Oh, don't worry. I'm just telling them exactly the information you already have on your website. I can assure you. If you have a Latin friend, they will confirm.
Okay.
So, Michelle, tell me something, because I see that I saw on a YouTube interview you had that you are from Ireland.
Yes. So yeah, I'm from Ireland, grew up playing junior golf back home in Ireland. And then I moved to America when I was 18. I came over here to play college golf. And then I've just stayed on since. But I'm very lucky in that I work here 10 months of the year. And then I get to go back home to Ireland for 2 months over winter every year. So I feel like I get to live the best of both worlds.
Well, that is wonderful. I also checked that you went to do some charity work in Kenya, I
Yes,
believe.
that was amazing. That was amazing. Myself and Zoe Allen. I'm not sure if you know Zoe Allen. Do you know Zoe? Have you heard of Zoe?
No, no, no. But I will investigate that.
Yes, you've definitely got to investigate her. She's doing amazing things back home in Ireland for junior golf. And myself and Zoe went to Kenya. I think we went for 2 weeks, and we just went into the schools and brought golf to the kids, and it was we tried to give a little to the kids, but I think we ended up, learning more about ourselves and life from being there, So
And to be able to really appreciate things in the when you're in Europe or the USA.
oh, I know, we're so spoiled. We have no idea how good we have it. So that's definitely a life-changing experience for sure.
So, what's your first golf memory?
One of my earliest memories was my dad used to bring me to the driving range on Friday evenings. And then one Friday, there was a junior contest going on, and I joined in on the junior contest, and I won. And I won 2 movie theater tickets. And I did like golf, but I wasn't hooked at that point. And I won 2 movie theater tickets. And so my mom let me go to the movies the next day with my friend. So my friend was like, you got to go back and win more movie theater tickets. So I kept going back every Friday. And that's how I got hooked on golf, was movie theater tickets.
Oh, movie theater can make wonderful things from people, and that's definitely one of those. So, and then you said something very important. At that age, it's hard for kids to get like, okay, I want to do proper golf and apply it to my life system, etc. At what time did you realize like I want to teach golf, I want to dedicate myself to golf? Because you gotta, and also play, because you got a scholarship for Campbell University.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yes, I started playing golf about 10. I started playing competitively about 12. Probably by 14, I was having a lot of success back home in the junior golf world. So it was looking like golf was going to be in my future to some degree, whether it was a player or whatnot. But I had this amazing junior golf coach. His name was Charlie McGoldrick. He's since passed away. He passed away quite young, unfortunately. But I had the most amazing junior golf coach. And he taught me so much about life. He was a great coach and he pushed me, but he also made me realize that golf didn't define me as a person. So he was just an all-around great coach. And I think I saw the impact he had on people's lives. And I just knew I wanted to do that too. I love being around children. I think if I hadn't been a golf coach, I would have been an elementary school teacher. But I think I knew very early. I remember playing in a ladies tournament at my home course, and I was about 14, 15. And one of the ladies said, hey, do you want to play on the LPGA tour when you grow up? And I was like, no, I want to do what Charlie does. I want to be a coach. So I don't think many kids say, hey, I want to grow up and be a golf coach. But that's what I wanted to grow up and be. Most kids will say, I want to be on the LPGA tour. But for some reason, I knew that this was the journey for me, I guess.
Well, and it has been definitely worth it, because you have, I believe, two offices for golf. You have one for summer and fall, and the other one is only for winter. Is that correct?
Yes, well, things have changed a little in the last year. So now we've changed it again. And now we're at 3 different outdoor facilities.
Oh, okay.
Trying to figure out what we're going to do for winter. So we're in the planning phases of that.
That is wonderful. We are trying in our country. We have 3 trackmans and a lot of fly scopes and a lot of wonderful people that want to work to improve their technology capabilities, so we can apply more technology to the golf and the junior golf system. What do you think about technology being applied to junior golf and amateur golf lessons?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wonderful. I mean, TrackMan is amazing. I can't afford it. I don't have TrackMan. I wish I had it, but but do you have do so? A lot of coaches there do have their hands on TrackMan.
No, actually, only one coach
Okay.
has a TrackMan. One other student from a junior golfer has a TrackMan, and a mid amateur has also a TrackMan.
Yeah.
So in the whole country, we have only three TrackMans. We have a lot of flight scopes, a lot of this 3D and some simulators, but we're our golfers, they tend to go like going up in the country so they can have Miami lessons, golf lessons,
Yeah.
and such. So yeah,
Yeah.
that gets to happen.
People like the feedback. They like to see the numbers. They like to see the information. As a coach, am I well? It's nice to see the information, but I guess I was always a field player myself. I'm probably more of a field coach. So yes, I think it's nice to have the information to reference back to. But do I think you have to have it to be a great coach? No.
Well, I like that opinion particularly because I have in this country, so we have wonderful teachers that said that same thing, and you get to see the rankings from the kids that they're trained, and yes, that definitely happens. So I can relate to that also. I want to ask you something very important. Um, in the importance of getting a scholarship
Okay.
for
Yeah.
for junior golfers, because in your case, I did my homework. I checked that after you got your scholarship for Campbell,
Mm-hmm.
it was that you went to the U.S. and it was the first time you actually went to the U.S.
Yes, so it was a very it was yes, I have a lot to say about college golf and scholarships. So yes, I could never have come to America if it wasn't for a scholarship. Education is free back in Ireland. I'm not sure what it's like in Venezuela, but education is free in Ireland. So my parents wouldn't have paid 30 grand a year to send me to Campbell University, unless I had that scholarship. So back then, myself and my sister came out. My sister followed me out 5 years later, and she had a full scholarship to Old Dominion University. So we were both very lucky to have full scholarships. But I don't think colleges are giving out full scholarships as much as they used to. I think they're giving out 50%, 75% scholarships, and then they're letting the kids earn it then from there, you know. So I don't think people are full scholarships right off the bat anymore.
And it's not easy to get a scholarship because even if you get a part of a scholarship, you still want to have good grades, so it has a better percentage.
That's exactly it. I say it to my kids all the time. Hey, you're not going to get 100% athletic scholarship, but maybe you'll get a 50% athletic scholarship. And if you have good grades on top of that, maybe you'll get a 50% academic scholarship. And now we got a full scholarship.
Oh yeah, that definitely works. I have some cousins that were born in the USA, and when they applied to that, they did exactly that, and it was wonderful. Now one is a physician, and the other one is a lawyer. So yes, I can get that.
But as
So
far as playing college golf here in the States for people who want to come from other countries, I mean, it is the most wonderful experience. It was the best 4 years of my life. I mean, it is such an amazing experience to be able to come to a country like this and have all these opportunities. It is amazing.
that's what they call it, the land of the opportunities.
Here I am.
No. I'm not a great golf player. I have to say that in Valencia, which is my hometown, we have Guatapara Country Club, which is one of the best golf courses in the country. And I played till I was like 13. And then I was like, this is not my thing. I want to tell people stories.
Okay, lovely.
So I got to be a reporter and everything. So you know how it is. But speaking about the support system for the junior golfer, because there's a parent who's online, which is Blanca Inciarte. She's from one of the best golf courses in the country, which is Vallarriba. We would mean High Valley Golf Club. And she's asking, one second, let me get. Señora Blanca, a ver si puede porfa repetir la pregunta. One second, because since a lot of people have been in the conversation, getting and joining and everything, she will get to that point. But the importance of the proper support system for the athlete. What do you think about getting good friends, good support system, professionally and personally?
And well, let's talk personally first. I mean, it's so important, especially for young girls. You know, we get a lot of young girls into the game and then we lose them around 11, 12. You know, young boys tend to be able to stay in golf longer than girls. But I think girls, once they get to 11, 12, they start to discover other things. They start to discover team sports, just other things that are more fun than golf. So it's so important that as you introduce your kid to golf, especially your daughter, that you are introducing them to those frameworks too. Like I have so many girls who play at quite a high level and the parents will say to me, hey Michelle, we're just going to focus on private lessons now. We're going to stop group instruction. You know, we're at a level now, we're just going to have our private lessons. And I'm like, don't do it. Your girls need that group environment. They need that social side. And so often they say, okay, we're moving to private lessons only. And then a month down the line, they come back and they say, no, we got to get back into our girl time. Is that kind of what you're asking me, or?
Yes, that definitely works a lot because talking especially about the U.S. Kids Golf system, you get to have, you see that some of the best players have like competitive edge. They know that they want to win. They know, and they cry and they get, and what they want is to win. I have to win. I have to win. And the other ones are more like, I want to have fun. I want to be with my parents. I want to be with my friends. I'm going to have a wonderful day. So yeah, you get to have that.
Yeah, I think every kid is different. I mean, every person is different. And you have to, if I was to give advice to parents, you have to listen to your child. You might want your child to be, really competitive or really driven or really motivated, but that might not be your child. And you've got to really listen to, what your kid wants from the game. The coach, the parent, and the child have to have the same goals. It's no good if the parent has one idea and the child maybe has another idea. But one of my biggest things, when I started my school, my whole mission was to create experiences to encourage kids to play the game forever. And it became so much more than that. I have to change my mission, actually. I shouldn't say change it, I need to add to it. Because one of my biggest career missions now is to help parents in their journey. I see how hard it is to be a parent caddy, to be a parent coach. I mean, that's a tough job. I mean, I'm a parent, and I don't know that I want to be a parent of a golfer. It's a tough job. And I went through junior golf with my father, and I've seen the good moments I had with him, and I've seen the struggling moments we had. And then just, running golf tournaments, I see everything. And so that's kind of a new career mission of mine, to really start helping the parents on their journey, not just giving the kids a fun experience.
Well, what you just said just confirms one of the reasons why you are one of the best coaches in the world. So that's great. That's a whole support system, not just for the golfer, but for the whole support system. So it's online. The U.S. Kids Golf Venezuela account is online. Did you know that they were the #1 attended international tour during 2019?
I had no idea, but how cool is that?
Well, they are very cool and wonderful organizers, and they do an amazing job here. And they got to have like 120 people during one day. Here is a lot. So it was um, and during the whole tour. And well, they were matching those same numbers during the 2020, but COVID and you know how it is. But talking about U.S. Kids, you recently, yesterday, had a tournament. I believe it. I don't know that I saw the name of the golf course, but I see that you manage on a regular year over 80 tournaments. How do you do that? Because I see that you work for Virginia State Golf Association, the U.S. Kids Golf, PGA of America, and the LPGA. So you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I have a lot of bosses. I've got a lot of people I have to work for. No, I love it. I think it's part of creating the experience for the kids. And when I started coaching first, there really wasn't many tournaments in this area. There was maybe a handful of tournaments a year, and my kids were going to North Carolina, South Carolina to compete in tournaments. So I said, I've got to change this. So I started running tournaments, and now we're just running tons and tons of tournaments. But I've got a great support system. I mean, I've got a great team. So some weeks in the summer, we could have 3 tournaments in 1 week. But again, I've got a great staff, and I'm very, very blessed, and I definitely couldn't do it without them.
So having a proper staff is highly important, so a big relevance, so you can have 80 good tournaments, because it's not the same as organizing a tournament per se, but organizing proper good golf tournaments.
Yeah, and I think it's so important. I think it's just part of the journey. I mean, kids need that. Kids want to compete. They're eager to get out there and compete. Even for kids who maybe aren't the most competitive kids in the world, what a great opportunity for kids to get out and learn on the golf course, just to get out and play with other kids, even if they're not the kid that's winning, but it's giving them the opportunity to get out and play week after week and just learn on the golf course. So many kids get stuck learning the game of golf. So many adults get stuck learning the game of golf, and they never get out and play it. So, I run these tournaments for my competitive kids, but I'm also running it for the other side of it too, the learning environment of it as well.
Yeah, and you have, in this country it happens, so I believe you have it on the USA as well. You have like this competitive edge golfer, and the other one that are more like, I want to enjoy my golf day, my golf tournaments. I want to, I want to be me for one day, because the golfer on a regular golf course, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, even when it's a practice round, they get to be themselves with the golf course.
Yes, exactly. And I think one of the biggest mistakes I made as a young coach, I thought everyone wanted to be the next Tiger Woods. I just thought every kid that came to me for a golf lesson was coming to me because they wanted to be the next best golfer. And what I've realized in my years of coaching is that every kid is on a different journey, and that's just fine. Some kids might want to use golf as an extracurricular activity. Some might be, very good baseball players, and they just want to play golf to relax. Or some might want to be the next Tiger Woods. So I think as a coach, that's one thing I've done a better job at in recent years, is when a family comes to me and they say, hey, I want to be in your program, I ask them, why do you want to be in my program? What do you want to get out of golf?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because, if I think everyone needs to be the next Tiger Woods and I'm pushing that child and that's not what they want, that's no good. And, when you look at my program, from a business standpoint, we see over 500 kids a year. Of those 500 kids, probably 100 of them compete in tournaments. So from a business standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, you got 500 kids, 100 are competitive. That's 400 kids who are just coming in to, play for fun or whatnot, or use it for, some other reason other than competing. So there's so much to it.
Yeah, and talking about that, you just mentioned Tiger Woods, and what happens with the kids that are actually, and this happens to me all the time, believe me, and you have these great kids that are either top 10 or top 50 or top 100, but they know is Dustin Johnson or Rory McIlroy or Bryson DeChambeau, which we're going to talk about him in a second. But I mean, I try to speak to some golfers like, okay, you know, Jack Nicklaus, you know, Tiger Woods, they are golf gods, not this. The golf now is more manageable. When Tiger Woods played the game, he was unbeatable, pretty much unbeatable.
So yeah,
And it's hard to explain that to those to the kids, right?
I know it was. Even when they saw him win the Masters again, it still didn't show what we remember. You know, it was cool for the kids to get to see him win again, but it's not what we saw back then. I mean, what he did was amazing, and it'll be a long time before it's done again. I mean, there's so many great golfers out there. There's no doubt about it, but it's going to be a long time before we see anyone do what Tiger did, I think.
So yeah, it's one of a time in like 7 generations or 6 generations. So I gotta ask these kids that you were yesterday with at the tournament for U.S. Kids. They tell you like, hey, Coach Holmes, I want to be like Bryson. I want to be like, I mean, Bryson DeChambeau is a guy that can hit properly, which is not the same as just hitting 300 yards. The guy actually putts well and gets to do like 320 something yards average. Do the kids, not only the junior golfers, the kids get to see the U.S. Open and all the tournaments?
Do they get to see it here? What was the question?
The question is, what do they think about those guys right now? Because the Bryson is all like, I want to use protein to improve my golf and hit 360 yards.
Yeah, I don't know that the kids really think too much more of it other than I want to hit it as far as those guys do. And I mean, we've got to encourage kids hitting it long. I mean, the game is long now. I mean, you got to be long. If you want to succeed in this game, you got to be long. So I encourage kids to develop swing speed young and to hit it young and to hit it far, and we'll worry about hitting it straight later. So I think it's fun for these kids to see these guys out there. I mean, they're hitting it a mile.
Yes, it's definitely something.
There's nobody as impactful as Tiger, but there is so many. There's so many good golfers out there now that it's fun for the kids to sit down and watch the tour. It is.
Yeah, it's worth watching, and anyone can win between the top 20. Anyone can win. It's really nice. I have a question about the kids that you are preparing. What do you think about junior golfers for preparing them for interviews and not to crumble under pressure during post tournament interviews or during live streaming scenarios? On the course?
I think that's a great question, and it's funny. I hate public speaking. I'm terrified of being on a camera. I get so nervous.
Well, you're doing perfectly. So I get that, but you're doing perfectly fine.
But as a kid, I was absolutely terrified of speaking. I used to, in my club tournaments, I would try and not win the ladies' tournaments because I didn't want to give the speech. I would try and because I was so afraid. So yes, it is important that kids develop these skills young. But the one thing I would say, what kind of hurt me as a kid, I remember when I gave my first speech and I was so nervous and I was shaking and I was so nervous. And afterwards, my parents, they were probably thought they were doing the right thing, but they just told me everything I did wrong. They should have just said to me, good job, nice speech, even though it wasn't a nice speech. But they told me, when on the drive home, they told me everything I did wrong. So I was so scared to speak again. And I'm still scared of public speaking. Here I am today at 38 years old, and I'm still terrified. So yes, I think it is important to encourage kids young. But just remember, they're trying their best. When they make mistakes, just encourage them.
Well, we try that here. I mean, as a photographer on the golf course, I'm actually not allowed to speak unless I'm spoken before, according to the PGA guidelines and the USGA, and we have to comply by that. But outside the golf course, I get to be again a graphic reporter, and I can ask questions. But the reason I ask you this is because the marketing about in the U.S. Is amazing, and you have over 30,000 followers, I believe, on not only on Instagram. And you're saying, I'm a little, I don't like interviews, I don't like TV, but I have 30,000 followers, so you must be doing something right.
Well, it's interesting for me. I'm actually speaking about this on Wednesday for an LPGA presentation, and I'm terrified to do that presentation, but they've asked me to speak on building your brand and building your social media. And if you look at my social media, I've built that social media, but you never see me on there. You rarely see my pictures. You rarely hear me speaking. I really tell the story of Michelle Holmes School of Golf through the kids. I mean, the kids have really built my social media. Yes, I put the information out there, but it's really the kids are the face of my social media.
Yes, I've seen your account because I believe you know Rafael Machado. Yeah. He was the one that spoke to me about you, and he told me, like, when you get the chance, you got to interview Michelle. She knows a lot about golf, and I'm gonna say something in Spanish and then I'm gonna say it in English, okay? Duré 4 meses buscando esta entrevista y créanme que es lo máximo. Yo me estoy divirtiendo full, así que espero que ustedes también. I'm telling the audience that I've been searching this interview for about the past 4 months, and it's been amazing so far because it's definitely worth it. And you have this vibe, this positive vibe, and you get to see that not only on this interview, but also on your Instagram account. I believe that's what the LPGA is trying to say. You keep it simple, and it's amazing the work that you do with the kids. I had to ask you something, Michelle, about this. We have my country is developing a high development program for speaking in interviews and in dinners and formal dinners, preparing them not only for the golf tournaments for amateurs, but also for the business meetings that they will have, so they lose their fears. But what do you think about to crumble under pressure on the golf course? The importance of golf course strategy and the ability to, being like, I had a bad shot, I have to recover very fast.
Yeah, and that's a great question, and it's something that all golfers obviously struggle with. There's no golfer in the world that doesn't struggle with it. What I teach my kids, and it's something my coach taught me years ago, is you have to be able to let go of bad shots, right? And you have to be able to focus when the time is right and unfocus when the time is right. Especially kids, okay? When we're talking about kids going out to play, like if you have a 9-year-old and he's playing in a tournament, he can't focus for 2 hours, right? He can't focus for 2 hours straight. So what my coach used to have us do is, when I play college golf, I carried my bag. So when I took those straps off my back and the bag hit the ground, that was my cue to focus on the shot ahead. Okay? So now I got to focus. I got to forget about everything else. I just got to focus on this one shot. I hit my shot, and then he said, okay, get as happy as you want or get as mad as you want. I don't care. Whatever the emotion is, get it out. But as soon as those bag straps hit your shoulders again, you've got to let it go. So to have those cues and to practice it, I know that might sound silly, but after a while of doing it, the legs.
It actually makes a lot of sense if you apply it to the emotional part of the golfers during a round, because it's not the same speaking about it here on the live on Instagram.
Right.
It's the same as I hit. It happens to a lot of golfers actually. You hit the ball perfectly during the golf course, and then you hit like 3 over par. So it gets to happen because you get to be like, I did amazing work and I still didn't got to be on the bar. So yeah, I can relate a lot to that. It happens in a lot of the Olympic sports.
And I think it's important as well, especially for, families, is to realize that failure is part of the journey. There's going to be a lot of bad golf shots. There's going to be a lot of bad golf holes. There's going to be a lot of bad golf scores. And if you can't accept that, well, you need to give up golf because it's going to happen. So you have to, I think especially parents, okay, they don't want to see their kids fail. I get it. You never like to see your kid fail. I understand that. But you have to accept that failure is going to be part of the journey. And I think if you can accept that, when it happens, I think you're better able to deal with it.
Yeah, and if you one of the best things that high development golfers or athletes have is to be able I mean, Michael Jordan has said it many times. The reason I did a good job on the buzzer shots is because I missed a lot of shots during my life.
Yes.
So to the golfer, it's pretty much the same comparison.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I think too, one thing I try and do with parents as well is not just helping them become better caddies, but parents have to help their kid in practice too, and to help parents practice effectively, and to help kids practice effectively. And I think if kids can practice more effectively, practice under pressure, maybe having little tests in their practice or little drills or little things that they have to accomplish, when they're under pressure on the golf course, they're going to be able to stand up to that a lot better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely, because one of the things that in golf rules it's complicated to explain to a parent is that unless they are caddies, they cannot speak with the kids during the round. It's only the caddy or the coach, depending on the type of competition, and you can confirm this information, that cannot actually give a tip. Not even the other player on the round or anything that can give you tips to be better or to acknowledge your situation and improve your game. So on the U.S. Kids, you get to see that a lot. I mean, a lot of parents do caddy so they can advise their kids.
Exactly. And it's so important. If you have decided to be a spectator, you just need to be a spectator. If you have decided to be a caddy for your child, you need to be a good caddy. And the one thing I'll always say to parents, and I think this kind of hits home with some parents, is if you're caddying for your child, then you are 50% of that team. Your child is 50% and you're 50%. And if your child was playing in a tennis match and their playing partner wasn't playing very well, what would you tell your child? You'd say, hey, you play your best and carry the team. So I always say to parents, when your child is not playing their best, that's when you have to be the best caddy ever. That's when you have to hold up your end of the bargain. Anyone can be a good caddy when the kid is playing well, but the kid doesn't even need you when they're playing. They need you when, those tough moments are happening on the golf course.
That's a good one. That you just said, I like that one a lot. That when you need your guidance the most, it's actually when you are really under pressure. Mm-hmm. That, like when you're playing, believe me, because you get to have players that don't speak with you. In my case, during the whole round, and then they go all like, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" and everything. They have this is my mental preparation, but what I want to do during my game. After I finish my round, I'm gonna sign my card, and then you and me are gonna have a lot of work, a lot of talking. Give me your pictures that you took me on the third hole, and everything. So it's fine. I have a wonderful time with them. Now, the best part of this interview is your slogan, Michelle. Okay. I gotta say, I love your slogan. and I believe it transmits the best energy you can have on golf. I'm gonna quote this. Give me 1 second. I have it here. So one little second. Okay. Quote. Okay. One. Okay, I missed. I think I have it on your.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah. That would okay. Create experiences that encourage kids to want to play the game forever.
Yes. Yeah. So I have two kind of reasons behind that. The first one is one that's kind of close to my heart, in that when I was growing up playing golf, I really loved golf at a young age. I really enjoyed it, and then I got really good at it. And when I got really good at it, then everyone around me kind of took the fun out of it. It was all about winning championships. It was all about getting to America. It was all about winning, competing. But really, I loved golf for so many reasons. I loved golf by going out with my friends. I loved golf getting to play with my uncles, my dad. I had loved the game, but then everything was just focused around winning and practicing. And when I didn't win, people around me weren't happy. So by the time I got to play college golf in America, I was completely worn out. Like, I did not have a good college career. I had a really bad college career, actually, game-wise, because I was just worn out. So for me, when I finished college golf, I didn't hit a golf ball for nearly 2 years afterwards.
Really?
And that happens to a lot of college athletes, because they play their last game, and then they realize, hey, I'm never going to compete again. It's done. I've dedicated the last 10 years of my life to this game, to competing, to winning, okay? And now it's done. What's my purpose now in this game? There was no purpose in me playing anymore. I remember the first time someone said, hey, you want to go out and play 9 holes? And I was like, why would anyone want to go out and play 9 holes for fun? I don't play golf for fun. I play golf to win and compete. So I think for me, it's very important that, yes, I want to create some great golfers. I want our kids to be as good at golf as they want to be. But it's very important that kids are taught to appreciate the game for everything it throws at them, whether that's, family time or the nature or whatever it is. Just to appreciate the game for everything it throws at them. And then the other reason I think it's so important is, I think a lot of people think if a kid is good at golf, they're going to love it. But that's not the case. In most cases, the kid has to really fall in love with the game first. And when they fall in love with the game, when you can give them an experience that they will fall in love with, that's when the possibilities become endless, because now the kid loves it. It's not mom or dad loving it. It's not Coach Michelle loving it. It's the kid loving it. And when the kid really drives it from within, then who knows? So there's two kind of sides to that whole mission.
Well, that's the reason I left that question for last, Michelle, because it's definitely some. We have to quote this after we finish this interview. We're gonna upload it to Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and everything. This is something that people need to do. They need to pay attention to what you are doing. They need to pay attention to the wonderful teachers that they have in their own countries doing good golf job, so you can have a good quality of life and improvement for their kids. And I want to thank you because I know you're really busy. I want to thank you for taking the time, to you and Ali and your other, what's the name of the other one? Yeah, and as well, I want to thank you for this. And we, on behalf of the U.S. Kids, because I have one of the organizers on the laptop, we're gonna do some things here to improve the quality even further of the tournament. So hopefully we can do the international invitations. So maybe we can bring you down here so you can give.
I would love that.
It would be something very nice.
Yes, I would love that. I've never been to America, so I would love to go.
Oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. When you have to come here. You're gonna love it. I assure you.
I would love to. I had a friend in college who was a tennis player from Venezuela, but that's closest.
Oh, you need to eat something that is named arepa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Mexican have tacos. That's fine for them, but you need to try the arepa.
Okay, we got to get to Venezuela then.
I'm gonna send you something because now there's like you can do it on your home, but I'm going to find a Venezuelan that actually lives there next to your so they can send you what you need to do. It's gonna be okay. I assure you.
Okay, I trust you.
Thank you for your time. I really had a wonderful time with the conversation tonight.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And best of luck with everything that's going on there. You guys are doing an amazing job too.
Thank you, Michelle. Have a good one.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bueno, thank you very much, Michelle Holmes. Muchísimas gracias a Michelle Holmes por tomarse el tiempo esta noche. Ha valido la pena. Honestamente, uno como reportero, lo que más desea a la hora de poder hablar con este tipo de coaches, este alto nivel de coaches a nivel mundial, es justamente entender que es un trabajo de paciencia para poder trabajar con ellos y poder hacer el cover apropiado. Gracias a Michelle Holmes y a su escuela de golf por tomarse el tiempo. Gracias a ustedes esta noche por esto. Les muestro de una vez una cosa que un buen amigo, se llama Gustavo Morante del Caracas Country Club, me prestó este libro de la Copa de los Andes, donde este jueves, vamos a hacer un reportaje sobre la historia de la Copa de los Andes. ¿Ok? Vamos a tener statements de Luis Soto, vamos a tener statements de otros jugadores, vamos a estar intentando conseguir declaración del pro golfer Jonathan Vegas. Hay que intentarlo, o sea, es el pro golfer, por si no lo saben, en el tema de Copa de los Andes, Jonathan Vegas ganó por equipos con Mario Maya, con Bermúdez, con Raúl Sanz, con Walmer Murillo, me avisan si me perdí de algún otro, la ganaron en el 2000 en Guataparo Country Club, donde muy probablemente, de acorde a lo que posteó hace unas semanas el Instagram de la Federación Venezolana de Golf en un story, se pueda estar desarrollando el torneo de golf interclubes. Y no es por nada, pero creo que es si se llega a dar, yo voy a decirlo así, Dios mediante, es la mejor noticia que puede haber. El golf tiene que volver, y tiene que volver para todos, y tiene que volver la competencia, porque hay muchísimas cosas que hablar. Todos los protocolos de bioseguridad están listos, pero eso lo vamos a hablar más adelante, lo vamos a hablar después. Y el domingo, por cierto, bueno, aquí me están preguntando cómo está el campo de golf de La Lagunita. Bueno, hay un señor de La Lagunita, se llama, su cuenta de usuario es Golf Lagunita Country Club, @Golf Lagunita Country Club. Es una maravilla de cuenta, pone fotos personales y del campo. El campo está muy, muy bonito, ¿ok? Le han hecho un cuidado precioso hasta el hoyo 14, que tenía algunos inconvenientes, lo dejaron, pero bueno, vean la foto, no me crean a mí. Vayan y de verdad que es una belleza. Lo que les comentaba también, este domingo, después del especial el jueves de la Copa de los Andes, vamos a tener una entrevista con Francis Herrera, la directora del grupo de GRAA. ¿Ok? Bueno, un saludo enorme desde Argentina a Fede Agulla. Gracias por tomarse el tiempo para allá a la Argentina. Que, por cierto, yo no sé si la audiencia aquí lo sabe, la parte de Venezuela. Aquí en Argentina tiene poco más de 300 canchas de golf. Es una cosa impresionante. O sea, creo que es una de las mecas de Sudamérica para ir. Creo que te tomaría, si vas una vez por día a los campos de golf, creo que te tomaría casi 11 meses o 10 meses. Impresionante. Pero bueno, gracias de verdad por tomarse el tiempo. Esta entrevista se va a postear en las redes sociales y le va a ser compartida para todos ustedes. Nos vemos pronto. Un abrazo enorme.